I thought that I was going to lose my life. I thought that my freedom was going to be done. The craziest thing has happened to me. I didn't think I was going to make it out. I thought I was going to be a number. I thought I would never see the day of light. My innocence was snatched from me immediately. Hey zombies, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing a story time with you guys. I know you guys already read the title. That's why you clicked on it. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my story about the time I almost went to jail, okay? It was crazy. Before we get into this video, I suggest you get some tea, get you some snacks, and tune in because I got a whole mouthful to tell you guys. I don't even know how I got myself into it, but if you ever been in some situation like this, then you already know how it felt. So before I jump into this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you can become a Simply. Turn your post notifications on so you're notified whenever I upload. And we're going to jump right into this story. I might be all over the place because I just don't want to miss anything. But I got to let y'all know exactly how it felt for me so you can put yourself in my shoes and actually be in a situation with me. All right, so as far as I can remember, it was summertime. I was about 18 years old, and it was me and my cousin who always do everything together. We're like sisters. We grew up together in the same household. That's my rock. We do everything together. So normally in the summertime, we always get up, we get dressed, we hit the ground running, okay? Like I said, I was 18, so I didn't have any responsibilities. I didn't have any kids. So it was just come and go as I wanted to. I also was hanging with this particular girl who lived right down the street from me at the time, and she was older than me and my cousin. My cousin and I are about 3 years apart, and this girl who I was hanging out with was about, I want to say like 5-6 years older than us. But the reason why I hung with her is because she had that crazy bubbly personality. We had a lot of things in common. She was just cool. She was down to earth, and my mom and her mom was actually cool. And my cousin got dressed for the day, and we was figuring out what we wanted to do. We linked up with my friend down the street, and we were like trying to figure out what we wanted to do for the day because the town that I grew up in is really boring. There's really nothing to do unless you have a car to actually leave the town. So most days I would just take a ride in my Honda Civic hatchback. That was my favorite car back then. Or we would just take a ride to the mall, go get something to eat. Or when we stayed in the town, we would just like chill in the park or whatever. Just whatever have you. Just chill, you know, regular stuff. Once we all linked up, I was on Facebook at the time. And I wasn't really too much on social media then. But I was heavy on Facebook, and I was talking to this boy. And I was going through that stage of, you know, talking to different guys, chatting, you know, chopping it up, you know, regular stuff. So I was really into this one boy. But unfortunately, my phone was I think my phone was off that day, and I didn't have any minutes. If I'm not mistaken, I had either a boost, like the walkie-talkie, or I had a sidekick. I don't know. It was one of those. Anyway, my phone wasn't on. So I needed to get to some type of computer or somebody's phone to log on to check my messages. So I'm talking to my homegirl, and I'm like, yo, I need to get on Facebook. I need a computer. I'm talking to so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. So she's like, oh, my homeboy right down the street, he got a computer. He'll probably let us come over and you can go on his computer. And I'm like, your homeboy, he'll. I always been real funny and iffy about who I really deal with. I usually keep my circle small. It's mostly just family or one or two associates that I will like chill with. So me thinking it's all innocent, it's all cool, I take my friend's word. So I'm like, all right, give him a call. So she gives him a call. He says it's a go. So like I said, I lived right up the street, right? I lived up the street. My friend lived on a corner. The house that we were going to, who was her friend, he was like right in between the block of where I lived and where she lived. So I want to say it was about 7 or 8 houses down from where I stayed at. So we walk over to the house. She shows me where it is. My cousin is like, I don't really want to go, Shell. And I'm like, why? I'm like, I'm just going to go on Facebook. We're going to just be in and out, and we'll go back outside. Don't even worry about it. And she's like, I don't know. I don't really want to go inside. I'm like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be good. Trust me. So I ignored, you know, her telling me that, and I went to go, and I proceeded to go into this house. Before we got into the house, I'm looking, and as we're walking, it's a little dark. It's a little eerie. It looks old and not renovated, and bushes all around and whatever. But I'm not thinking anything of it because, like I said, my house is right up the block. So I'm like, I'm good. She rang the doorbell, whatever, and he buzzed us in. We go inside, and as we go inside, I'm looking. I look upstairs. There's 2 other apartments. So it was like a, I don't even know, like a 5-family house. There was a lot of apartments. So there was like 2 apartments from what I could see upstairs, one to the left, one to the right. And then as we're walking, because he lived on the bottom floor, there was an apartment here. And then we had to walk a little ways down to the hallway to get to his door. So she rings the doorbell. He lets us in. I was surprised to see who he was. He was fairly older than us. I want to say he looked like he was in his 40s. He looked like he was from another country. He spoke semi-proper English, but you could tell it was kind of broken. So I knew, whatever the case. I observe everything. So I just want you guys to really like understand how this was going. So he greets us in and we're like, okay. So I didn't know if I should sit down or not because, when you go to somebody's house, you wait for them to tell you, you can sit down, blah, 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 blah. So he tells us we can sit. We sit on the couch. My friend is talking to him and a few minutes go by and I'm looking at my friend like, all right, let him know I need to go on the computer. Like, we're not here to just chill. So she says whatever she says. And he's like, yeah, sure. So he sets me up on the computer. His computer was like in the corner. So he had a whole setup. His house was fairly nice. Nice dining set, nice floor, nice carpet, big flat screen TV. It looked nice. Everything was copacetic. Nothing to make me feel like suspicious, anything. Bit cluttered. He had a lot of stuff, but it was, for the most part, it was cool. As we started talking, he asked us our name. We started talking. I was like, oh, you live by yourself? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, so boom, I get on the computer. I'm doing my thing. I'm talking, trying to mingle, talk to my little boo thing. Everything was fine. Everything was chilling. So we were there for about a good 20 minutes, I want to say. So he's talking, we're laughing, and he's like, do you guys want anything to eat? And so me being who I am, I'm like, nah, no thank you. I don't want anything. I don't know you. I'm not eating nothing out your kitchen. I need to see your glasses, your silverware, your utensils. I'm just OCD like that. Knowing damn well I was hungry, but I'm like, no, thank you. So my friend is like, Michelle, let's get something. He's like, oh, we can order something out. You guys want to get something to eat outside? So my friend recommended Applebee's, and at the time, Applebee's was my spot. Okay, I love me some Applebee's. So I was like, okay, I'll try some chicken fingers and French fries. And my cousin said the same thing. He called up, he placed the order, and he's like, I'm gonna go pick it up. You guys can wait here while I go pick it up. So I'm looking at my cousin, and I'm like, why would he leave us in his house and he don't know us? And I don't really even know how long my friend said that she actually knows him. I'm just going off of word of mouth. So I'm like, you sure it's okay for us to stay here? Maybe we could come back once you get the food. I just didn't feel comfortable staying in somebody's house that I just met. You know what I mean? I just feel like I don't know. So I felt a little funny about it, but the energy was good. You know what I mean? I go for energy, so I was just going with the flow. Again, I'm 18. I'm carefree. I'm not thinking the worst. So he gets ready to go. He walks out the door. I'm chilling. I'm on Facebook. Cousin and my friend were talking. I was just doing my thing on the computer. I want to say about 3 minutes later, my life got twisted and flipped and turned and tossed upside down. I instantly heard this loud boom, this sound effect that I'll never get out of my head as long as I can remember. It was so loud, it was so intense, and it was so forceful. And then once I heard the boom on the door, I didn't hear nothing for a few seconds. Immediately, I seen like 15 people, officers, SWAT team, run through with all black on, dogs, guns, everything. And all I hear is, get on the ground. Get on the effing ground. And I'm like shocked. I can't even move. I'm like instant freeze mode. Like I couldn't believe what was coming at me. First thing I'm doing is I'm looking at my cousin. They grabbed us, all three of us, took my face, threw it on the ground. They didn't just tell me to get on the ground. They forcefully threw me on the ground. Face smush, nose smush, grab my arms, put your hands behind your back. They're cursing, they're screaming. Do you guys know where you are? What do you guys got going on in here? We know you guys are doing illegal things. Show us where the stuff is, this, that, and the third. And me and my cousin, I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God. My heart felt like it was going to jump out of my chest. It literally felt like it was going to come out of my chest. I couldn't even breathe. I was hyperventilating. I felt like somebody was suffocating me. I looked at my cousin. She had a blank stare. She had no emotion. She had no expression, nothing. Nothing of fear, nothing of anger, just nothing. I'm freaking out. My friend, on the other hand, she's screaming, she's cursing, she's being rebellious, defiant, she's cursing back, being disrespectful. I'm worried because they really doing her messed up. They throwing her down. They know her by her name. So that right there showed me that she already been in trouble because they knew her first and her last name. They never seen us because I'd never been in a situation like this. So I'm trying to figure out what is going on. All I hear is yelling. I can't even process anything because they're yelling at me. Next thing I know, I look up, they got a gun to my face. They got an AK-47 to my face and they're like, tell us where it's at. And I'm screaming. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. What is? You know what's going on? Such and such, the guy. They caught the guy as soon as he went outside. I was thinking they must have been already staking out and watching his movements and his traffic or whatever he's been doing that led them up to coming to this house. We don't know. This is our first time ever going. Wrong place, wrong time. I'm trying to speak. They won't let me speak. They're yelling. They're spitting in my face. Gun at my face. And I'm like, if I say something, they're going to kill me. I'm sweating so bad that You would have thought somebody poured a bucket of water on me, down to my undergarments, saturated because of the fear. I literally thought my life was over. And all I could think about was, how the hell did I get here? How the hell did I get here? Why the hell am I here? And who the hell is going to get me and my cousin out of this situation? Because at that point, I didn't care about my friend. I was worried about me and my cousin. When I seen the look of her being shocked, I knew that this was the worst situation we could have ever been in. And I needed to help her. I'm shaking, trying to speak my piece and tell them that I have nothing to do with this. We don't know. They're like, you know where the stuff is at. You know where the illegal substances are. Stop playing with us. The guy outside, he told us that you've been working for him. You've been getting all this stuff. You know where everything is at. Tell us where it is now. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know what they're talking about. I have a strong mind, and I'm very strong about what I say and how I say it and what I mean. My word and my voice is always going to be valid. So the fact that they were provoking us and they were interrogating us, trying to manipulate me and my cousin and my friend to make us say something that was false, it just wasn't rocking. I asked God at that moment, please, God, speak through me. Do not let me get weakened. Do not let me fold under pressure, because I know I'm innocent. We are innocent. We have nothing to do with this operation. I just kept standing tall, and I don't know what you're talking about. We don't even know who this guy is. Like, I never even been to his house. They didn't believe it. They started to get very angry because we weren't telling them something. They wanted us to tell something we didn't know. How can we tell something if we don't know? And I'm not going to make up something that's not true. That's just not what I'm going to do. So that kind of pissed them off. Go to grab my phone. They take my phone. They throw it. Mind you, my phone was off, so I had no minutes. I couldn't even call my mom. I'm bugging now. I'm like, this is going to go crazy. My house is right up the street. My mom and my grandma is inside. They don't even know what's happening. They think it's a summer day. We're just outside chilling like we always do. They're not thinking we're in danger right now. How can I get a line to my family? They're cursing. They're flipping. They start talking to each other. You know how the officers talk. Talking so much smack. They take my arm. They put the cuffs on it. And when I tell you, I have never felt so much pain in my wrist. They squeezed it so tight. I'm like, this is crazy. I asked them to loosen it. They refused to loosen it. Face on the ground. Wouldn't let me up. It was just crazy. I just felt disrespected at this point, and I just wanted to be free. All I was thinking about was the worst. Like, what is going to happen once we get out of this house? How long is it going to take before they let us go and believe us? Nothing I said, nothing I did was valid. Nothing. My cousin was so fearful and scared she couldn't even speak. I literally felt like I had a frog in my throat. I literally felt like my life was coming to an end. Like my life flashed before me. They started breaking stuff. They started damaging all the man's property, breaking all his flat screen TVs, took his table, turned it upside down. Everything that he owned that was nice, they flipped it upside down, busted up everything, glass, noises. All of this is going on in a matter of minutes. All I hear is loud noises. I see dogs sniffing stuff. It was just too much to process at one time. And I couldn't believe I was here. It was almost like I was watching myself in a dream, like something you see on TV. I was actually in it. It was reality. And I'm just like, this is crazy. I cannot believe this shit. I was chilling. In a matter of seconds, now I'm in this predicament. The noise and the words that they chose to use, and the forcefulness and the aggressiveness and just how they belittled us and spoke to us like we were just criminals. It just felt crazy. I felt like I was drowning. Like I needed oxygen. I started having really bad anxiety. I feel like that was my first episode of having anxiety, and I didn't realize it at the time, but the way my body felt, the physical symptoms, the gasping for air, the numbness in my legs, the shivering in my body. I couldn't control it. I felt like I was going to vomit. I literally felt like I was going to defecate on myself because the nerves in my stomach were jumping so bad of being scared. Unbelievable. So after a couple of minutes, they're still searching. They're still doing this. We're still on the ground. One cop is next to us. The other ones is just busting up stuff, talking mad smack. Finally, I just close my eyes and the tears just keep rolling. They're rolling. And I'm praying. I'm praying to God like I've never prayed before. Please show them that we are innocent. Long story short, I hear one of the officers say jackpot. And I'm thinking, this is it. They found what they was looking for. We're here. We're done. This is it. They found everything that they came for, okay? When I tell you that it was something off of New Jack City, if you've never seen New Jack City, check out New Jack City. It had everything that you can think of that shouldn't be around or in your house or you shouldn't be exposed to. Bags of it, packages of it, firearms, everything in the wall. This man had a whole operation set up like in places that you wouldn't even think, in his floor. It was crazy. I was just shocked. Like, wouldn't expect it when you walked in. His house was it was set up really nice. And I'm just like, wow. I'm guilty by association now. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong man. And now I'm going down for something wrong that I didn't even do. How the hell am I going to get out of this? So now I'm freaking out because now they found what they was looking for. And I'm talking a lot, okay? Probably worth a lot of money. I don't know about all of that. I've never been around it. I don't want to be around it, but I've seen movies. And they were just talking, and I'm just like, yo, this is not going to end well for me and my cousin. So I'm begging, I'm pleading. They keep interrogating us. They keep saying, your friend said that you did this. The man outside said you guys did this. And they try to flip and flop the stories to make us switch and flip on each other. But me and my cousin is solid as a rock. We loyal. And I know, and she knew, that we didn't have nothing to do with that. So nothing they can make us say to change our story. He's like, you guys are going to go to jail for a long time. You can say goodbye to your family. Your life is over. I'm just thinking, like, after this, how am I going to survive in jail? How am I going to make it 24 hours in jail if I can't even take it in this situation I'm in right now? I'm not going to survive this. Please, God, make a way. Long story short, they called some more cops. This particular cop that came on the scene, I knew him from high school when I graduated. He was like one of the patrolling officers. Very fond of me, very respectful. We had a good rapport, and he knew that me and my cousin came from a good upbringing and we never got ourselves into trouble. He always used to say to me, Michelle, I want to see you do good. You remind me of my niece, and I know you're going to go far in your life. Don't you get caught up in nothing. When he walked in, it was like a breath of fresh air because I knew God sent his angels. This officer was not supposed to be on duty, but his specialty was in narcotics. He came to the situation because he said he felt something was weird. He came along with about 2 other officers. When he saw me and my cousin, he did a double take as if he saw a ghost. I broke down even more. I just couldn't stop crying. I couldn't shake it. I was trying to be strong for my cousin, but I couldn't shake it. I knew I had made a mistake. I knew I should have listened to my cousin. How did we get here? Because I wanted to go on social media. This led me up to this situation. I was just feeling crazy. He was like, what are you doing here? What are you and your cousin doing here? What are you doing in this house? What do you... And I told him the whole story, and I'm like, we didn't do it. We came here to go on the computer. My friend brought us here. She said this was her friend. Everything was fine, and this happened. We have no idea who this man is, anything about this man. I came to use a computer. And he's like, all right, I'm going to see what I can do. I'm begging him. I'm like, these cuffs are hurting. He's like, just hold tight. He goes, he talks to the other officers. I don't know what he says. We wait for a good 30 minutes. Those 30 minutes feel like 30 years. I want it out, okay? As the officer that I know is talking to the other officers, another officer comes over to us and he's like, we need a strip search, y'all. Now, of all days of my life, I was on my monthly, okay? I was on my monthly. So they're telling me that I need to strip down and take my clothes off. And I'm just like, this is not going to work. I never forget, I had on pink pajama pants. Me and my friend had the same outfit on from Old Navy, pink pajama bottoms, and I had a tank top on and a denim jean jacket. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. They're like, take your effing clothes off. They started yelling in my face. They started really being disrespectful. And I'm like, you know what? If I don't comply, it's only going to get worse for me. I'm like, can you send a female officer? I'm not taking my clothes off in front of a man. Some female comes in, they take us around the corner, like another room into the apartment, and I had to literally be degraded. And you already know what happens after that. I had to cough. I had to do things that I didn't want to do, along with me having my menstrual. It was the most violating, degrading situation I've ever been in. And I felt so disrespected. I felt as if somebody had touched me. I felt like my innocence was taken from me. We did what we had to do. Of course, we came back clean. Nothing was on us. We knew nothing. The officer that knew me came back and he's like, all right, we got this situated. We're going to let you guys go. I know that you guys didn't do this. As for your friend, we're going to have to still take her down to the station. I don't know. She has something going on with her and whatever. At that point, I didn't care. I was like, thank you, Jesus. I was able to take a deep breath in and actually function for those couple of seconds as I heard the words come out of his mouth. I thought when he came back, he was going to tell me, you know what, we're going to have to take you. You're going to have to go down county and we're going to have to book you. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the worst. So once he said that, I was so happy. I wanted to hug him, but I had the cuffs on. I said, please, my arms hurt. My wrists are really hurting. Can you take this off? He's like, you can call your parents, you can call your mother or whatever. Mind you, my phone was off. So they used my friend's phone to call my mom. I called her. I couldn't even speak. The words wouldn't even come out. My voice was trembling. I couldn't even tell her what was going on. I just said, come down the street. We got arrested. We got into a situation. My mom, my grandma, and my aunt came down the street so fast. when they opened up those doors, I swear to God, I never been more happy to see sunlight, air, fresh air, because being in that house for those 2.5 hours felt like decades. It felt like I was never going to be able to breathe again. I was going to literally die. Like somebody had kidnapped us and we were in a dungeon. Like, that's how scary and devastated we were for those hours of being interrogated and disrespected and having guns in your face and stripped down to your clothes. It was so many things arise and happen, and just back to back to back. There was no break in between. They didn't give us a second to even process it. It was just so frightening. And all I can remember is running across the street to my mother. She was standing there, and my grandmother, and her arms were open, and I was so devastated. I just embraced her and I cried so hard. I couldn't breathe. I was literally hyperventilating. I was a mess, and all I could think about was, damn, that quick second that I decided to make this choice got me in a situation that would have taken my life and took so much from me, and I was innocent. Had I had listened to my cousin when she had that intuition feeling and that gut feeling that she didn't want to go in, we wouldn't have been here. We'd have been still chilling outside. They let us go. My friend unfortunately got taken down to the station. I don't really know what happened with that. I think my mom called her mom later and they let her out. Whatever the case, at that point I didn't care about her. She was no longer my friend. She was no longer an associate. She was the enemy. That's what I felt like, because she was older than us, and I felt like she was more wild. You know, she was more out there in the streets, and I feel like she knew what was going on. I don't think she knew that was going to happen, but I think she knew what type of lifestyle this man was living. The fact that she would bring her friends, her so-called friends, to this situation, it just put a bad taste in my mouth, and I was just done with her. I got home. I stayed in the shower for about 2 hours. I cried, and I cried for about 48 hours. I was numb. I couldn't eat. I had flashbacks. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept seeing the gun in my face. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept feeling pain in my wrist. I literally had scarring on my wrist for about 2 weeks. It was so tight. It cut the circulation off my wrist. It was a mess. Moral of the story is, be careful who you call your friends. The people that you think are your friends sometimes don't have your best interest at heart. And that's what this lesson and experience showed me. I don't think she did it intentionally, but I do think she should have been more considerate and more protecting us, because we looked at her like our older sister. Not only was she our friend, but she was like a big sis. Be more mindful of the choices that you make, the people, places, and things, because you don't know who you're really around. That goes for you riding in a car with somebody. You don't know what's in their car. Whoever you're dealing with, even if you're innocent, if they got something going funny with them and they doing the wrong thing, you're guilty by association. So no matter what you say, you're still guilty until proven innocent, okay? And that's exactly what happened to us. Had it had not been for me praying, and I know it was nobody but God, that officer wouldn't have not came to the scene that day, and we would have been booked. Pretty sure we would have got out, but we would have been booked, and it would have been way worse for us, because we would have got mug shots. We would have got way more. It would have been more trauma. It was so traumatic for me that to this day, I'm still iffy. I never went into anybody else's house after that day. Anytime I would hang around people that I was cool with, it was outside. It wasn't in their house. I was just done with going to people's houses. I kind of lived in paranoia for a while. You know what I mean? Because the girl that I thought I trusted almost got me behind bars. Almost did time for something that I didn't do. There's so many people that get charged with things and they're innocent. The whole situation just woke me up and made me realize that I need to be more mindful and I need to make better choices. A lot of times we're not mindful because we're humans, and we try to think positive in situations. I'm thinking it's a nice day. I'm chilling with my friend, my cousin. I just want to go on the computer. I'm not thinking anything else. I'm not thinking negative, no bad intentions. I'm just chilling. That chilling got me in handcuffs and a gun in my face. Be mindful of who you decide to be around. Do your homework. Even when you go to the grocery store, be mindful of your whereabouts, your environment. Look around, because you never know where you are or where you will end up, and how things can just go sour just like that. I was really messed up behind it. I didn't really trust anybody. I really didn't want to really even hang out with anybody. I stayed in the house for a good 2 weeks. I was just like, I'm not going outside. I was so traumatized. It was a very traumatizing situation, being 18 and never being in trouble with the law, never being around any illegal activities, and just not used to that type of lifestyle, and being caught up at the wrong place at the wrong time really messed with me. So by the grace of God, me and my cousin were good. We didn't have any records. It wasn't anything like that. And because of that officer, we were good. Your girl survived it, made it. I'm a soldier, but I never was the same after that. I don't like authority. When I see them, listen, I don't want eye contact with none of them. And I wanted to share this experience with you if you're somebody who has been through something similar to me or had any type of interaction with authority and you were placed blame on, and you got placed blame on something you didn't do. How did you get out of the situation? If you did go to jail, how long did you go to jail, and what was the reason why you went to jail? I would love to know that. Comment that down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Click the bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. And I need y'all to comment down, God is good. God is good all the time. God is good, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.